Hi, my name is Ron, and I live in Ohio with my wife Amy, a gestational carrier. What was your initial thoughts when your wife said she wanted to be a gestational carrier? She and I had spoken of it from time to time in the past, so I was somewhat aware of the process of her being a gestational carrier, but I was still taken aback slightly when she actually decided she was going to go through with it. At the end of the day, my manhood or alpha male dominance over the pack wouldn't be threatened, so I was fine by it. The only issue was I was deployed to Iraq at the time, so we discussed as much as we could via the phone and the internet, and I actually signed the contracts in Iraq. I sent them back to her via the mail so she could start without me. That's how intent she was on doing this. What were your concerns about her going on a surrogacy journey? My biggest concerns were twofold. Her health, both physically and mentally. From a physical standpoint, how she would rebound afterwards, and obviously during childbirth. Even though we live in a civilized country, there is always risk involved. Certainly from the standpoint of my wife, who is tiny and had to have C-sections for both sets of twins. Mentally, afterwards, you have to be there because there will be some obvious natural feelings of depression. It's something you really can't not feel. You grow something in your body for 9 to 10 months, then it's gone. It's a life. For a millennium, we were supposed to take care of our offspring. Now through the wonders of science, we can do it for someone else. However, that mental state from thousands and millions of years of evolution, it's still there. So my role afterwards is to take care of her mentally. The next issue would be legal. I wanted to make sure at the end of the day, I didn't have to bring home any more children to raise. I have 3 grown children, so the only other children I'll be bringing home will be grandchildren. Because the parents of my wife are so emotionally vested in the process, I feel as though the surrogate dad, me, has to be the overwatch and be somewhat detached on a lot of the aspects that could crop up. How did you tell your family, friends, co-workers about your wife was going to do? If I could get a billboard or take out a TV ad, I would do so. I proudly tell everyone I come into contact with what she does. I use that as an icebreaker often at times, especially when she's with me. During our journeys, as the pregnancy is called, all of my friends and co-workers constantly ask for updates. It's a rare thing to do, and people are very interested. Because of that, my wife and I try to educate people on it as much as we can as well. There tends to be some negativity in the media and movies about surrogacy, or there are a lot of old wives' tales that still float around. One of the crazier personal examples I have is that I knew a woman who was interested in becoming a surrogate and helping someone. Perfect, that's the first step. However, she has 3 daughters but no sons. And unfortunately, her husband was not able to get over the point. If his wife was carrying a son for the intended parents, he said he couldn't give it up as he didn't have a son. Due to the emotions involved with this type of thing, those emotions oftentimes are the biggest factor and they trump reason and science. Bottom line, a gestational carrier is for all intent and purposes an easy bake oven. No slight on the women out there. I know it's a tough job. You are not supplying any ingredients. You as the father just watch the cake bake. If your wife is as great as mine, then you will be rewarded with a slice of cake as your relationship and marriage grows over time. And she will be most grateful. Again, she supported me during my desire to serve others as a Marine, so it's only right that I return the favor. You are supporting her in arguably one of life's greatest gift-giving schemes ever. What type of relationship do you have with the IPs? There are many types of relationships that you could have, and a lot of it centers around the business aspect, which my wife absolutely hates. My wife has chosen as part of her profile that she wants to be part of the parents and children's life for as much as they will allow. Her obvious concern as time goes on is that the babies she nurtured in her body for so many months are rightfully taken care of as they grow up. She loves kids and she wants to see the physical, mental, and personal development of these children because she genuinely cares. For some, this is just a business transaction. However, for my wife, it is well beyond that. We are known as Uncle Ronnie and Aunt Mamie. We see the families on a fairly regular basis, and one of the families even uses us as an impromptu emergency babysitter to include overnights every couple of months. We view these families now as extensions of our own, and that feeling is mutual. If you were at the hospital during delivery, describe the feeling of seeing your IPs with their child for the first time. Obviously, there is a great emotion to see the happiness and joy of the IPs when their little ones are delivered. But for me, my emotions are really focused on my wife, as this is probably the greatest feeling she has ever had. She becomes as emotional as the parents and loves to see the joy in their faces as the little ones are delivered. I see no difference between what I went through being a father myself in the delivery room and what we go through now as surrogate parents as we gift these children to their own parents. Would you support your wife if she wanted to do this again? To date, my wife has been involved with 5 families. Unfortunately, the first time was unsuccessful. The second time, she gave birth to a healthy set of twin boys after the first attempt. The third set of parents, we had 3 attempts, and they actually ended up adopting. The fourth set of parents was a healthy set of twins again, a boy and a girl, and we are currently on our 5th set of parents. So yes, I do support her. What advice would you give other spouses when they are approached by their wife who wants to be a carrier? This is all about supporting your spouse. In my case, she was there for me over the course of a long Marine career and 4 trips to Iraq. So it is my sworn duty now to return the favor. Your focus should be caring for your wife's mental and physical needs. Though it's not your kid, she is after all pregnant. Being at doctor's appointments, dealing with the morning sickness, and basically putting your lives on hold. If the first attempt doesn't work, then you are normally under contract to do more than 1 cycle. So you could be with the same set of parents for well over a year, which leads to the final point. Not only do you have to support your wife, but you also have to support the intended parents. Some of them, this may be their first attempt at having a child. They are literally putting all of their eggs in one basket, your wife's basket. The other part of that is if you do become a surrogacy parent and it's successful and your wife wants to do it again, the new IPs will lean heavily on what you have as that experience, as they will not know what's going on from moment to moment. As the father of 3 grown children, my role becomes very important. For example, during our 3rd family, that is where I played a major role. The intended parents didn't have children at all, so I did a lot of legwork with the father and mother alike, just prepping for the arrival of a child, period, much less a surrogacy. What surprised you the most, or what did you learn from this experience? I didn't realize how happy this would make my wife. She talked about it, but again, I didn't realize how emotionally vested she was. I knew that she wanted to feel that motherly instinct again, not just being pregnant, but she genuinely feels as though she helped someone in the greatest way possible, and she has, by bringing a life into this world. And I help support that role.